Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. And we have quite a bit to cover this week, so stick around. One app designed to do it all. Hangar Control brings everything together: control bindings, hardware configuration, mod and profile management, application launching, add-ons, config files, and more, all managed from a single application. Mods Hangar goes beyond just mods and add-ons. It manages profiles, config files, text files, backups, snapshots, and helps keep your community folders clean and organized. Application Hangar launches your entire sim stack with a single click. Your Stream Decks are fully controlled through the Hangar Control plugin, while all of your other Stream Deck plugins remain active and available. Built by a simmer for simmers, Hangar Control adds new features and hardware support every week based on community feedback. It's a one-time purchase with lifetime updates, no subscriptions. You can try it for free for 5 days with no restrictions at overkillsimulations.com. Just create an account, head to your account page, download the latest version, and get started. And if you're looking for in-depth Microsoft Flight Simulator aircraft tutorials, check out my Patreon site. Links to Hangar Control and Patreon are down in the description below. All right, folks, let's start off with a big one this week because wide-body fans are going to be paying attention to this. Aerosoft has officially released the trailer for the upcoming Airbus A340-600 Pro, and this aircraft is being in collaboration with ToLiss. Now, if the name ToLiss sounds familiar, it should. They are well known in the X-plane world for extremely deep Airbus system simulations. So seeing them working alongside Aerosoft on a Microsoft Flight Simulator product is honestly a pretty interesting partnership. The trailer itself gives us a pretty good overview of what they are aiming for with this aircraft. We see the aircraft from multiple angles, including external shots, cockpit views, and some looks inside the cabin. The aircraft is shown both during day and night, which gives a pretty good feel for the lighting and environmental settings for the cockpit and cabin's environment. A few features are also highlighted throughout the video. We can see things like the electronic flight bag, a deeper aircraft systems, taxi camera, and aircraft custom engine and flight models being showcased. One interesting thing that pops up in the trailer is a look at the engine covers during the maintenance, which suggests that there may be some walk around or maintenance style features included as well. It is a small detail, but definitely caught my attention, especially when we talk about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024's walk around option. The A340-600 is a very unique aircraft in the real world. It's one of the Airbus's longest aircraft ever built, and it has that unmistakable 4-engine layout combined with the long fuselage and the center bogie landing gear that helps support the aircraft's weight during landing. This is especially a good time for the A340 given the fact that she's basically been decommissioned. There are very few flying left in the world, as she was also known to be very underpowered, specifically in her earlier versions of release. But based on what we are seeing so far, it looks absolutely amazing, and like the developers are heading for a fairly high fidelity long haul aircraft. And we are definitely in need for a very good, well-built 4-engine bird that can bring us those long haul flights. Now, the good news is that this aircraft is set to release tomorrow, being March the 12th. So I hope you guys are just as excited as I am, because this is definitely something that I will be picking up and trying out here on the channel, and very likely doing one of my PDF tutorial guides on. This aircraft hits all the marks that I've been looking for in a 4-engine bird. You've got great developers behind it. The ToLiss family of aircraft are absolutely phenomenal in the X-Plane series. And those who fly X-Plane, you're probably already jumping in your seats excited to see this coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Next up, we have a small but interesting update for the upcoming Dassault Falcon 50 from developer Contrail. The team recently shared a new sound preview that gives us an early listen into the audio environment that they are building for this aircraft. A link to that video can be found in the description below if you guys are interested in hearing it for yourself. Now, the Falcon 50 is a classic business jet, and it is a bit different from the newer corporate aircraft we often see flying in the simulators and in the real world today. It is a tri-jet design, meaning it has 3 engines, which already gives it a unique personality both visually and acoustically, as well as in the flight model. In this preview clip, we get to hear the aircraft going through part of the startup sequence. The audio begins with the aircraft coming to life on the battery power, before moving into the standby ADI spool up, and then eventually with external APU start. And honestly, even though the clip itself is pretty short, it gives a good indication of the direction that they are going with the sound design. I have said in multiple occasions that sound is almost more important than the visual aspects of an aircraft mod or add-on, as the sound is where your brain gets so much more of its interpretation from, especially while you are actually flying it. The graphics, the fidelity, the cockpit textures and things all absolutely make sense and have to be on par. But when you actually get into the busy end of it, when you're worried about navigating your systems, adjusting your autopilot, navigating through a taxiway or on your final approach, it's not so much the graphics at that point you're looking at in the aircraft, you're paying attention to the sounds. And the sounds are going to tell you a lot about what's going on with the aircraft as well as take you into that immersive experience. And honestly, even though the clip itself is pretty short, as I said, it still gives a really good indication of where they're headed, which I'm very impressed with. Sound is something that has become increasingly more important in flight simulation. Well done, it can dramatically improve the immersion, especially if the aircraft, like the Falcon 50, where the engines have a very, very distinctive tones. Contrail has been slowly sharing development previews of this aircraft over the past several months, revealing pieces of the model, systems, and now the audio environment. The Falcon 50 itself is a French business jet that first flew in the late 1970s and has been used around the world for corporate transport, government operations, and even maritime patrol roles. Bringing the aircraft like this to Microsoft Flight Simulator adds diversity to the available aircraft lineup, especially for people who enjoy the business aviation operations. Me personally, I tend to find the business operations to be more enjoyable than even the larger commercial aircraft, as it brings a nice balance between the general aviation busyness, the small locations that you can fly to, while maintaining the high speed, the power, and the complex systems that are offered in the commercial aircraft. Especially given the fact when you take into consideration that most business jets fly higher than your commercial aircraft. So while this update is mainly focused on the sounds, it does give us another look on how the aircraft is progressing and suggests that the team is continuing to refine the overall experience before release. Next up, we have an update from Navigraph that is going to be very useful for a lot of sim pilots, especially anyone who flies online. Navigraph has now introduced Scratchpads into the Navigraph Charts application. The idea behind this feature is pretty simple. It allows you to write down important flight data and information directly inside the charts interface while you're flying. For example, you can quickly jot down arrival instructions, route clearances, taxi instructions, or ATIS information without needing a separate notepad or piece of paper on your desk. This becomes particularly useful when you're flying on networks online like VATSIM or IVAO, where controllers might give you multiple instructions in a short amount of time. Navigraph has included several different Scratchpad templates as well. You can use blank paper, lined paper, graph style paper, or a specialized template designed specific for aviation tasks. Some of those templates include things like craft, clearance formats, PIREP logs, holding instructions, and even takeoff and landing performance cards. Another nice detail in that Scratchpad is that it can remain visible alongside your charts, meaning you can keep important notes visible during high workload phases of flight like departure or arrival. This is another example of Navigraph gradually tuning their charts platform into something that functions more like a full electronic flight bag rather than just a chart viewer. And honestly, if you already use Navigraph regularly, this is one of those small features that can actually make your workflow a lot smoother during your flights. So to Navigraph, continue being innovative, continue kicking tail, and I will continue broadcasting your product. If you have not used Navigraph, I highly recommend it. It is an incredibly powerful tool that will make your aviation experience in the simulator a much, much more enjoyable experience. A link to this YouTube video will be down in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. Next up, we have a small update for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Microsoft has released a minor update aimed primarily at improving overall simulator stability. Now, this is not a major content update or anything like that. It is more of a maintenance update designed to address stability issues that keep the simulator running smoothly. These kinds of updates typically include bug fixes, crash improvements, and small behind-the-scenes adjustments that improve reliability. Even though these updates may not be the most exciting news in the world, they are actually pretty important when it comes for the long health of the simulator. And with so much focus being on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 lately, it's nice to see it get some love. Stability updates help reduce crashes, improve performance consistency, and make the overall experience smoother for users across different hardware configurations. With the simulator continuing to evolve with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 now in the ecosystem as well, maintaining stability for 2020 version is still important since a large portion of the community continues to fly on that platform. So if you are still flying MSFS 2020 regularly, you may want to make sure that you have the latest update installed, especially when it comes to stability, reliability, and performance updates. If you're running physical hardware with Microsoft Flight Simulator, X-Plane 11 or 12, and DCS World and soon-to-be American Truck Simulator, be sure to check out Hangar Control. This is a middleware application that sits between your sim and your controllers. Think Honeycomb Bravo, Alpha, WinWing Panel, Stream Deck, and the X-Touch Mini at the moment for MIDI devices, although more coming. This gives you a deep aircraft-aware control over all of it without touching a single config file with inside of your simulator or game, minus the need to go in there and clear any bindings that might have been automatically assigned by said simulator or game. First up this week, we're going to have a toggle action mode. If you've got a physical toggle switches on your hardware, this is for you, but it's not limited to that. You can now assign an on action and a separate off action to a single button. First press fires it on, next press fires off, and then alternates from there going back and forth, obviously with each following press. Sounds simple, but it's been a big ask from the community for things like arming switches into state cockpit controls. The Stream Deck plugin got some love this week too. 3 new button types landed this week. There's an HC window toggle, which brings up Hangar Control from the tray or minimizes it. This was again another feature request. Actually, pretty much all of these were feature requests. A service toggle that starts and stops the input service from Hangar Control from your Stream Deck. And a page sound button that plays a configurable set of beeps when you navigate to a Stream Deck page. The last one is a VR quality life win. No more pulling your headset to try to figure out what page you are on. That was the very nature of the request behind that one, so hopefully that solves the gap. Now, as always, guys, these are always going to be subject to further change based on your requests, honestly. Snapshot Manager got an upgrade as well. You can now include individual files in your snapshots, not just folders. So if you want to capture something like your user config option file alongside your community folder, you can now do that with the Add File button. And there were a couple of fixes for the Behringer X-Touch Mini users. The mode toggle button was generating unmatched MIDI messages, and the MC mode fader was misclassified as CC messages when it should have been reading pitch bend data. Both of those are now sorted out. Hangar Control is available at overkillsimulations.com. There is a free 5-day unrestricted trial of the software if you wish to try it. The biggest thing that I can tell you guys is remember, please be sure to create your account first. You must create your account first, then hit the red account button. You can download the software, and even if you are purchasing it right out, which I absolutely appreciate, be sure to still create your account first or you will get an error at checkout. And finally, we have an update for a tool that many people in the community use when deciding what add-on to purchase. FS Add-on Compare version 2.0 has now gone live. For those who may not be familiar, FS Add-on Compare is essentially a comparison platform that allows simmers to evaluate different aircraft and add-ons across the flight simulation ecosystem. This site allows users to compare things like aircraft system depth, visual quality, features, compatibility, and other details that can help you decide which add-on might be the best fit for your simulator needs. With version 2.0, the platform has received significant improvements that make it easier to browse and compare those products across multiple simulators, including Microsoft Flight Simulator and other platforms. Tools like this are becoming increasingly useful as the number of available add-ons continues to grow. Between aircraft, scenery, utilities, avionic expansions, there are now hundreds and thousands of products available. And having a centralized place to compare them certainly will save a lot of time. I did a quick review on this a very long time ago, and I will be reviewing it again in further detail in the coming week, but I can tell you that this is an absolutely fantastic piece of work that has had a lot of heart and thought put into it. So if you are someone who likes researching products before making a purchase, this is definitely a tool worth checking out. Again, that is going to be FS Add-ons Compare version 2.0. Well, folks, that's going to wrap up today's Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found some useful information. And as always, if you did enjoy it, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, as it certainly helps us out. And don't forget, at the very least, go hang out at overkillsimulations.com and see what you think of Hangar Control, and be sure to join us in the Discord channel. Link to my Discord channel can be found in all of my video descriptions. As always, folks, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you in the next one.